Right then, YouTubes, we've got an interesting job today. Quite a big power washing area, so I'm going to show you what needs doing, and again before and afters, and I'll show you the sort of peculiarities with this job. I think the biggest one is going to be where all the water is going to go, and you'll see that in a bit. But let me just take you down and show you the kit, what I'll be using, and also what setup I've got this time round. And then you'll be able to see, no, I'm not wetting myself, it's the hose. So, go over there. Right, let me just turn this tap off. Right, so yeah, quite a big power washing job today. As I say, I'm just worried about where the water is going to go, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. So let's flip you around and we can go from there. So we've got the trusty GX390 machine. Hose has ran right out, and I'll take you a little tour on where we're going and what we're doing in a little bit. But first off, I've upgraded to a 3/4 inch diameter hose, and honestly the flow, if you're struggling with water and you're feeding it from a barrel, get a 3/4 inch hose. It's night and day, it literally is, compared to something like that I think it was 70 quid with the fittings, and you won't go back. It's just night and day. It's, especially if you've got poor water pressure, it just means that what pressure there is and what water there is, you're getting it through that little bit different. So this machine, it is water barrel fed, so you can't plug it into the tap. It does need some TLC at some point, but that's another job. But feed it from a barrel, and I use a wheelie bin because I can put all of this and cones into the barrel, and I just need to remember to bring that and them. Nice and simple, and we like simple here, remember, we like straightforward. So I'll get the hoses plugged in, but before I do that, I'll take you for a walk around and you'll see the job that's involved. So we're going to clean the steps all the way up, tops. Now it is tiered, so obviously all this water is going to have to go somewhere, and there is a grid just there, so I'm hoping it's just going to run down nicely. So steps down there, as you can see up here. So I've got one hose reel, I think I've got a 30-metre reel, and I've got a 20-metre extension, so you can see the joining piece here. So I'm going to shunt all this over to this area. So I've got plenty of hose left, to be fair. So down there, and then that area up here. So faces of the stairs, tops, around the rockery. Now, a customer said there's any chance you can power wash this off. Now the machine will power wash it off, but it's where do you stop? Really, I said to the lady that all the way across would have to be done, but the shrub's in the way, and I think for how much it's going to be and the return, and also I'd have to use the lance, and I'm very worried about chipping away any of the mortar. So she says she's going to have a go at just giving it a light scrub. So move this over, clean here, and then these stairs and the faces, and then across there. So it's a nice, simple, straightforward job. I try and use the surface cleaner if I can for the majority of stuff like this, because it's a bit less destructive, especially on the pointing, but also you've not got the risk of much pointing being blown out. And I always tell people it's always in the terms and conditions this could happen, but I always try and again mitigate that. And apparently that line is badgers going across to there, so who'd have thought it? So yeah, we'll crack on, we'll get some pictures and we'll get going. So that's the first little bit done, but as you can see, access I had to do a bit off the lawn and a bit forward and backward, so it's a bit sketchy. I think the biggest one is where all this water is going to go, and I think it's running down the side, and I think when we go down to here it's going to run down. So I'm just using the turbo nozzle, but being very careful around the pointing. I don't want to be risking the whirl away up here, because if I drop it off a step it bollocks it, and that's how I bollocks the last one. So yeah, we're going through it. Power washer's whirling away, so yeah, come back in a bit. So we're getting there now. So this area is done. Now, little areas of standing water, I find if you use the water from the hose, it sort of pulls back, and you can blow it or you can not. I use a leaf blower, and I'll show you that towards the end. So, but also you'll see the disaster of me trying to film while I'm power washing. So we'll get on with it and we'll get the rest of this area done next. So, as I did think, the water is going. Oh, okay, Sophie. It is running. We'll have a look where it's going. So, see, the barrel is flowing, but that's just clean water. And I think this starts to run. So it's not going down the path. I think it's going to go down the bed, and hopefully it will drain somewhere we can board it. Now, I am not a legal eagle, but I am under the impression that if you power wash, you should contain what you wash off. It shouldn't be allowed to go into the systems of like the road. Now, come on, is that possible? Who knows? So, break time is called when the power washer needs fuel. I think it's been about a couple of hours of solid power washing, and the one good thing about this property is the water pressure is very, very, very good here, or it's the 3/4 inch hose, because there's nothing worse than crap water pressure. So I'm just going to knock, tap down, just have it on, just cool, just a little bit coming out, because I have got the barrel running over. But as you can see, it's the cock for dolly really. So I'm going to get him filled up with fuel and then we can crack on. So I don't know how well you'll hear this, but this is something you come across a blocked grid. Now, take pictures beforehand if you notice it. You'll see a picture either before or after where you can see that this was pre-blocked on arrival, and I always let the customer know, because the last thing you want is them thinking that you've done it. So you can see here the state of play. It's come up rather well. It's a hell of a lot better than what it was. I've just got to put all the furniture back. But up here on the upper deck, that's come up very well, if I do say so myself. So I'm going to put all this back to where it was, and then we can start with the final phase, and then the clean up. So let's get on with it then, guys. So I've been pleasantly surprised with this hose. So if any of you guys power wash and use a Bowser, let's just do a quick test. So we'll turn that all the way on. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill this bucket with this hose, and then that one with that hose, and we'll see the difference. and it is pouring down with rain, well, drizzling, so optimal conditions. So I think this one is going to take a little bit longer. So this is the sort of pat down. So everything goes back into the barrel. The barrel will start draining. But the job so far has gone pretty okay. So we're about half full. So the other one took 32 seconds. We've just gone past that. But as you can see, it's a bit of a miserable day. But I'll be honest with you, I don't actually mind it when it is raining because it keeps everything wet. See, it stops things drying. So we're nearly full. We'll let it overflow like the other one. Yeah, that's it. So 56 seconds with that one and 31 with that one. So a little quick test, not the most scientific. I know that one's old and it's probably got a little bit of a twist here and there, but that's what I use normally, and there's nothing worse than having crap water pressure and basically just struggling along with it, trying to get a job done. So now we've done the fun part, now begins the not so fun part, which is the tidy down. So we'll get all that done. So onwards. So we're packing down. I always get this drained first, and I use the drain hoses, make sure they're at the bottom. So I think this is 150 litre. I don't quote me on this, but what point I'm making is if you tip this out, you could wash that flower bed out, or a portion of it. Either wash a bit of it, so you'll have to go back and tidy, or it'll wash a bit of it onto the road. So while I'm working, that can be draining, it's not a problem. The banana cones are doing the job. No one has commented on them yet, not a single person, so I'm not very happy. Wow, I can live with it. So just knock pressure off that. So now is the job that you don't see on too many channels. It's the tidy down. It's not all about just power washing, you've got to make sure everywhere's tidy. So scary liquid, applicator and a squeegee. We're going to go and clean the windows for this lady. So let's just have a little look around. So everywhere's come up really nice. Now I've done the tops, but where it's applicable. Now I did that one and that started to break away, so we're not doing those other two. And we'll explain that to the customer, because we're here to solve problems and clean. We're not here to create problems. If you're going to damage something, don't do it, because you don't want to be telling that customer you bought something. So collect up these gubbins, just put them in there. So it's come up quite clean, if I do say so myself. So down there, it's come up nice. I'll take after pictures and post that. But it's stuff like that. If you leave that, you're not going to like that. And then splashes on the window. So I'll clean all this. Just wipe it down, that's it. Nothing technical, just wipe it down. It's like the cell. Wherever the customer sees things or could see things, wipe it down. It's 2 seconds, but it's a difference between you do it every year or you just do it once. So squeeze past this, and then same with this, all the way down. So it's come up quite nice actually. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the windows, and then that's job is a good, and we'll get the final say so off customer as well. But as you can see, it's come up rather dandy, if I do say so myself. So yep, cleaning now. So the birds are chirping. We'll get, as I said, so I always price in cleaning the windows because you've got to do it anyway, and it's a little upsell, as in you're not necessarily getting paid to do the windows, but you're telling the customer, hey, I give a shit about your property and I'm going to make sure it's nice and clean for you. So it doesn't take that long, to be fair, but like I said, it's the difference between you maybe, you know, getting a call back to do it next year. As I said, maybe it's just me being thingy, but I always think you don't tend to see much of this on like other channels. It's normally just so get all these windows clean for this lady, and then I've just explained to her that there's a couple of bits where things have blown out. Well, just a little bit of pointing's come, and I always tell them before the quote that it could happen, or it might happen, or it will happen. If there's any areas that you think it's going to happen, just tell them, because they're not going to expect it. And the last thing you want is them ringing up or saying to you, well, this needs doing or that needs doing, or you've created this problem. Remember, we're here to hopefully solve people's problems. And the last thing you want to do is go away and basically you've made a problem, because they'll let you know. So just get everywhere all cleaned down, wiped down. She's just going to do us another cup of tea, actually. That's what she come out for. She seems a nice lady, so we'll get all this done. But it's stuff like this, it's just little bits, but what it does is it's showing the customer, hey, this guy's willing to go sort of above and beyond to try and get my property as clean as it can. In a weird way, what I've done before I did the windows, was I used to ask him, when's your window cleaner coming, and just sort of give him a rough idea that it could, or it might be a little bit of thing. It's always better, I think, to sort of maybe warn them than them picking up on it. And believe you me, some people will pick up on it. So, just finishing off, and it's been very, very wet, miserable end today, but it's been a nice little job all in all, really. Customer, I think she seems okay. You never know. But we're just getting the windows done. Like I said, it's just little bits like this that I think just sort of seal it. So get everywhere wiped down. I think some takeaways from this job, I think the thicker hose has definitely helped. I think if you are using a water bowser and you have got just a normal 1/2 inch hose, I would definitely go for a 3/4 inch hose. I'll leave a link for it, nothing affiliated. I got it from Worksite and it's from VTOF, and the local dealer wanted £5.50 a metre for the 3/4 hose, and that's a 50 metre roll downstairs. Well, that you saw earlier. So he wants £5 a metre, so you know what I mean? It gets quite expensive if you're going for the local dealer's touch, shall I say. So I bought that off the internet, and I think it was 70 quid, 60 or 70 with fittings. So it's a bit of a bargain, really, isn't it, that? And like I said, it's just helping just to speed jobs up, because there's nothing worse than rubbish water pressure. And that little scientific test that I did earlier, you can see it's about 50% quicker And the reason is the water, whatever water there is, it's not restricted. It's got somewhere to go in a hurry. It's like a single lane motorway or a dual carriage motorway, you know. Cars might be doing the same speed, but because there's more lanes, you can get more through it. And it's just the same principle with a hose. So I'm going to get the last few little bits wiped up and then we will get done. So now it's a simple task of getting all of that into the van, and I will show you what it is like once it is all packed up, and you'll see the sort of, hopefully, simplicity, well, sort of. So let's get all of this in the van. So that's the kit neatly stowed in the van, and we'll go and just have one more final check around. So yeah, that's it guys, just straightforward. Try and make it as easy as I can for myself. This is why I only do cleaning on days as well, because it just takes up all the van. I can put a mower there, but it just gets very problematic. This job has took me about 4.5 hours to get done from start to finish, including filming, well, quote filming. So yeah, have a good day guys.